And that is the angle drawing him forward. That round the wicket angle from the right armour. Oh, but here we do. We see some spin.
Oh, right on cue. One of the best sights in cricket, Harry, and I say that as a spin bowler. Watching a spinner get ready to take their mark. And it is the youngster, Nirvan Ramesh. I still remember his first wicket here. Wasn't too long ago, all things considered. Was in August. It was in the One Day Cup. And Stuart van der Merwe pulled off one of the all-timers, I must say. It was an unbelievable catch. Low to his right, Jordan Pickford style. And it felt like time just stood still. And we all waited to see if he'd caught it cleanly. He had done, threw the ball up straight away, wheeled off in celebration, and we lost our minds here on commentary. It really was a superhuman acrobatic effort. And this now, such a nice moment for young Nirvan Ramesh. 17 years of age, attends Westminster School. Someone with a very high ceiling in this wonderful game. He starts off with a dot ball. It's a very busy action, isn't it?
Yeah, lots going on. I was just thinking that. But strong all the way through. There is a lot going on, but the foundations of it are very, very solid. Just looking to find that length and get himself into his spell.
Hangs that one a little bit wider outside the off stump. Yeah, so Nirvan was previously on the Surrey Academy. So he played for the Brown Caps from under 11 to under 17 level. Plays his club cricket for Brondesbury. He's also played for Teddington and Primrose Hill over the years. Here he is bowling to Asa Tribe. Nice little bit of rev and rotation on that one. And someone who he's been coached by, I mean, this will be a name familiar to those who watch quite a bit of Surrey and Derbyshire, but Nayan Doshi has done quite a bit of coaching. Just working on the release of the ball and consistency. So gives that one a little bit more flight compared to the previous one. And this is a top start from Nirvan Ramesh.
Yeah, just beats the outside edge there. Tosses it up a little bit. I like the pace he's bowling with at the minute. I think it's a very nice pace. And a good, very good start.
And plenty of flight, very full. Crisply driven out towards deep cover for the single. And that is something also, aside from the action itself, that a lot of people have observed is the pace at which he bowls. So he's got almost that slower flighted one, but there's another one, comes predominantly out the front of the hand, and it just skids off the surface. So watch out for that one as well. Second 11 cricket generated quite a few dismissals through LBW and clean bowls.
That's the wicket taker, that one that slides through off the same length and line of one that spins and has a little bit more flight.
Is that from experience, Harry?
Yeah, I kick them a lot.
Well, this is nice to see as well. Short leg in place. That one just pushed away through the covers by Ingram for the single. It's a very handy start that for young Nirvan Ramesh. 2 runs conceded from his first over in first-class cricket. And Glamorgan now 94 for 3 after 26.
He's very measured at the top of his runner, which I liked a lot. It's very easy to rush into overs, especially on your debut. When you want to get into your spell, you want to get going. You end up rushing a little bit, and you could see him in that over just stand at the top of his mark, really assess what he was trying to do, and was assessed and kind of performed as he wanted to. He knew what he was going to do in his mind, and sort of got on with it without rushing. But we're going for double spin now.
There you go. Of course, as well for Ingram, they count as his runs, so I imagine he'll take that.
How does that go down on your wagon wheel? Is it a little one or a big cross?
Very good question. We'll find out soon. That's up for the statisticians to come up with that one. As Nirvan Ramesh comes on to bowl his second over of the game. So that one spins up in the air. It should be a catch. Luke Proctor comes across, and Nirvan Ramesh, on his first-class debut, has got the huge wickets of Colin Ingram. What a moment that is for the 17-year-old from Westminster School. Nirvan Ramesh, take a bow, young fella. Absolutely brilliant bowling. And to get a wicket with just his 7th delivery in the first-class formats, well, that is quite simply outstanding. Glamorgan 103 for 4. Ingram goes for 18 from 22. And Harry Butler, what a wicket that is.
Massive, massive wicket for the young man. And big one in the context of the game as well. Had a lovely angle here from the comms box. Bowling around the wicket. Just gets a little bit of drift, a little bit of flight into the left-handed Ingram. And he tries to play against the spin as it drops in front of him. And as it drops, he just gets a little bit of bite and just takes that leading edge and sails away. For a minute, I thought he was going to land in the gap, just wide of that mid-off fielder, but he gets round and it hangs in the air and is able to get round quite comfortably to take the catch. And massive celebration for the Northampton lads, getting around the young lad. And a massive, massive wicket for Ramesh.
Certainly is. For such is the depth of this Glamorgan side that in strides Ben Kellaway, the 21-year-old from Newport, and someone who scored 95 in the previous game between these two sides. Certainly no stranger to scoring big runs.
He'll be in a little bit earlier than he would have liked from what looked like a decent start from Glamorgan. They're now 4 down. We said add 2. 100 for 4, you said, would be the call from McManus. And that's pretty much what we've got. Spin on, a little bit of difference. I think you went from Calvin Harrison bowling that very direct line from a good height down into the wicket to Ramesh giving a little bit of flight. And that first ball of the over, just maybe not concentrating as much as you would have hoped from the experienced batsman. And he's just taken that leading edge and for the catch. And it's proved to be a very good change of bowling by the captain Proctor to get spin on from both ends.
Slip in play here for Ben Kellaway. So Ramesh tosses it up. Goodness me. Well, you know that it's got a bit of bite if McManus can't corral it. I mean, what a catch he took, by the way, in the quarter-final. Standing up to the stumps against Ben Sanderson. That will go down as a bye against the Gloveman, though. Already such promising signs, these, for Nirvan Ramesh.
That's gone big. That's good signs for the spinners.
The kind of delivery where, as a spin bowler, you rub your hands, you lick your lips, and you go, you know what, I'm in the game here. Darts that one in on a little bit of a shallow trajectory. There's a rather forlorn attempt there by Calvin Harrison.
There's a good stop to start with and then sort of a crawling after it. Panicked, trying to run the batsman out. But they'll take the one and get through quite easily. Ramesh measured at the top of his run-up again.
And just pushed in towards short extra. Tell you what, this now, quite an important passage of play in the wider context of things for Glamorgan as we head towards the end of the morning session. That one a more confident stroke from Ben Kellaway.
Deep covers come up into a regulation cover, and I'm a big fan of that. Just trying to keep him on strike. Don't let that little press where he's a little bit full, only slightly. Just let that be a dot rather than an easy single, and keep him on strike. You've seen one spin sharply into him, and he might be something there for the short leg.
That one just covered up by Ben Kellaway. Will be a dot ball, and what an over that is for Nirvan Ramesh. His first wicket in first-class cricket is that of Colin Ingram, a man who's almost got 10,000 career first-class runs. And that is what the game is all about, seeing these talented youngsters making an instant mark, making a name for themselves. And I do fancy that we'll see an awful lot of Nirvan Ramesh across formats over the next few years. Certainly a bowler with a very, very high upside. Calvin Harrison and Luke Proctor just have a little bit of a conversation here. And from the early signs from what you've seen, Harry, would you concur with that?
Yeah, definitely. I thought there was a top over there from Nirvan. Just before lunch, just looking to prize another one away from Glamorgan, who chose to bat first, of course. Game's moved at a decent rate here, 105 for 4 from 28 overs.
And restarted from the Lynn Wilson centre end as he comes on to bowl his third over of the match. My name is Aaron Viles, on one half of your commentary duo for the action today. And sat back alongside me, we've not scared him off, on his Northamptonshire live stream debut is the wonderful Harry Butler. Harry, how are we?
Yep, still here. You've not scared me off yet. No, I've enjoyed it. The real good start, really good first session. It's been really nice to watch spin come on and then Nirvan bowl really well to start with. Yeah, going to be an interesting session there. See if Ace of Tribes, obviously the big wicket here, has looked very fluent so far. And then a pretty new batsman in Callaway at the other end, facing up here for the first over after lunch.
Indeed it is then. 17-year-old Ramesh versus 21-year-old Callaway. And the first ball after lunch will be half stopped by Ben Whitehouse, but a well-ran single by the Glamorgan pair does rotate the strike. Good cricket all round there.
Yeah, definitely. Good stop and well ran. It's very easy to just sit back and not run that when you see him dive in and make the stop. But rotating the strike again, especially against the spin here, is going to be key. Can't let anyone just sit and bowl at you.
And one very wide from Ramesh, played off the back foot through the covers for another single. Really has been an impressive start to Nirvan's professional career. So took a wicket on his List A debut up at the Riverside against Durham, that of Archie Bailey. And of course took a wicket on his home debut here in the One Day Cup. Now taking a wicket in his first class bout. And that one inducing the outside edge off the bat of Ben Callaway. Races down towards the press area and it will be cut off by Ben Whitehouse. Gets up slightly gingerly after that one, but will be 3 more runs to add to the tally for the Welsh outfits. Continuing to just hobble a little bit here is the 22-year-old. But a good effort that, wasn't it, Harry?
Yeah, it did well to chase after it. It slowed up a lot quicker than I thought it was going to. But I think that probably shows you the soft hands that Callaway's pushed at it with. Good line there from Ramesh. Back into it. Takes the outside edge. But played well enough that gets 3 down to a vacant third man.
Someone flatter in trajectory, trying to bring those stumps into play, as is often the case with Nirvan. Very aggressive spin bowler. He's someone who backs his skills and his ability. Has the exuberance of youth, the wind between his sails.
And again, nice and straight. Catching man there at mid-wicket is just run around to field that. One man protecting the square leg boundary, down at deep square leg, and then an extra man just in at mid-wicket, just for the straighter shot from the batsman into the leg side.
So final delivery of over number 30 coming up. Ramesh to Tribe, and Tribe has absolutely crashed that into the ceasing. 6 of the very best from the Jersey International. What a stylish way that is to round out the over. Ace of Tribe moves on to 73. And Glamorgan now 126 for 4. The first real shot of anger that we've seen against Nirvan Ramesh on day one.
If you wanted an insight into the sort of mindset of Tribe there, I think that shows you pretty much. He's very positive. He's looked fluent, looking to score all the time in this morning session. He's obviously carrying it on into this afternoon session. He's seen a couple spit when Raveshka came first on last session, and he's obviously not going to sit there and wait for one to get him. A little bit of extra flight, and that's all the invitation he needs to launch one over mid-wicket for 6. Ramesh to start his second after lunch. His 4th of the game. Back bowling at Tribe. He's going to look for that little bit of flight and see if he can replicate the imposing shot he made end of last over. And you do see Nirvan go a little bit short, a little bit straighter and flatter. And it just enables Tribe there to squirt one out to deep square leg to rotate the strike.
I like this, though, from Nirvan. I know he's just been pumped at the end of the previous over. You can see him just backing his skills here. Not searching for wickets. It's something which is so easy as a youngster, especially on your senior red ball debut. So far, he's keeping it nice and disciplined in this spell. A bit like that.
Yeah.
That's the kind of area I want to see from Nirvan. It's that good length. Just testing out Kellaway. Does he want to play it on the front foot or the back foot? In the end, Kellaway's done a pretty decent job on that occasion.
Down the pitch goes Kellaway, squirts it out, makes it full enough that he can squirt it to cover, rotate the strike again for 1. Kellaway nice and proactive so far, as is Tribe. You see the short leg in for Kellaway, newer batter, trying to find a little bit of that turn and bounce that we saw in that last over before lunch. With the short leg, but coming out for Tribe, deep mid-wicket in place instead, just trying to dissuade him from that slog sweep we saw. A little bit more flight. It does invite Tribe forward, but he can only find mid-off.
Yeah, decent stop that, wasn't it, from Safe Sabe? Just going back to Kellaway as well. Quite like that shot. It's a good option to just shuffle down the track. Recognise the pitch of the ball nice and early.
Well in again. End of the over. 2 from it, 132 for 4.
Good riposte that from young Nirvan Ramesh. Of course, had that 6 smashed by 8 Tribe into the Briggs and Forrester stand. Then to just concede 2 runs tells you a lot about his character. Also says a lot about the respect that Glamorgan are happy to play in with for the time being.
Then Ramesh comes for his 5th over. A little bit short, tucked away off the hip, down to that deep backward square leg. And they'll stroll through for a single.
Well, I'm just looking through the rest of the scores, Harry. No further wickets have fallen in Division 2. Kent 143 for 1 against Lancashire. Derbyshire 114 for 1 against Middlesex. And Gloucestershire 138 for 2 against the table toppers Leicestershire.
In little lap scoop, little lap sweep, just into the vacant 45 region, and it's going to race away. Deep backward square leg, runs after it thinking he's got a chance, but nowhere near in the end. Gives up with a ball 10 yards from the rope.
No, he's fast as James Sales, but he's not that fast. You'd struggle to find Olympic sprinters getting after that one. Just, again, a very well-executed shot. If you've got the courage, the bravery to try and pull it off, as Ben Kellaway has, there is plenty of green grass down there up towards the heavy sweep.
And Kellaway will back that option. He thinks it's probably a reasonably safe option there at 45. Just, he knows Niven's just gone a little bit flatter, a little bit fuller, and he knows that if he can just get outside the line a little bit, try and negate the spin and just get it down there to the vacant region. We see Northampton's obviously not happy with that shot, feeling it is too safe almost. And that short leg's going to come out to that 45 region to try and dissuade that as Ramesh comes around the wicket as well. A little bit more flight. Just tries to drift it onto that off stump. Just get a little bit of turn. That's all they need. I'm a big fan of this round the wicket. He's seen it spin a little bit. And just try and get as much of that out as we can. Flatter and shorter. I wonder if we saw him come in there as Callaway. Dances down a little bit and then evades the throw back in from mid-wicket.
I think he's done well there, has Ramesh. Made that last second adjustment.
That's it, just that little bit of drift. Just try and play with both inside and outside edge. See if we can get it to find that bit of turn we saw in that 1 over before lunch, which we haven't really seen since. We've had 2 or 3 balls which really spat. The wicket being one of them looked like it was going to turn to take the leading edge of Colin Ingram. Just trying to find something a bit more like that. Touch shorter, still drifting. Blocked away towards point, and that's the end of another over. Northampton's getting through the overs a little bit quicker now. They've got spin on from one end. Ramesh staying around the wicket to both right-handers. Now got a 45 and a short leg in. A reverse sweep from Callaway. Played very nicely. Evades the slip and goes fine enough to beat that deep point man. And it slides away for 4. Just makes good contact, doesn't try to hit it too hard, and it flies away across the outfield. Lovely shot.
I can tell you right now, as a spin bowler, that absolutely frazzles you. It really is frustrating. And of course, Callaway, we know that he can play the reverse. And straight away, look at the think tank out here. You've got Harrison, Proctor, Safe Zabel come in and give his 2 cents as well. It's the kind of shot which, off the very first ball of the over, automatically brings about a change in tactic. And that is brilliant batting from Ben Callaway to do that so early on.
We'd just seen a change of feel from the previous over. They'd only had, swept one to 45 and removed short leg. And then Northampton's come up with a plan for the following over. And now we see one reverse sweep and the plan goes out the window. Everything's got to change again. We're going back to the field that Ramesh started with. We've got short leg in. Just a deep cover, no 45 this time, but deep square legs got very fine for that little lap sweep if he wants to play it. Blocked down into the ground, but nothing more than that as it rolls back towards the wicketkeeper McManus. Only just short of a length. Callaway gets back and makes good contact in towards mid-wicket. Just trying to evade that man, and it'd be 4 to the slightly shorter boundary over towards the right-hander's leg side from this end. Slower from Ramesh there. Draws Callaway forwards. Short leg in the game, but he plays it well enough in towards his feet. You can see Callaway has got himself right over across to off stump. He's just really looking to play with the spin and see if he can get, I don't know whether he's looking for that lap sweep again or whether he wants the Ace of Tribe shot over mid-wicket where there's a vacant space over there. Or if he's just going to carry on playing with the spin and meeting it with the full face of the bat. He gives himself lots of options. Callaway, he plays all the shots, and you can see him almost problem solving as he bats, especially against spin. Final ball of the over. Just draws him a little bit wider, but blocked convincingly enough over to point.
Yeah, nice end to the over that, wasn't it, from Nirvan Ramesh? So Glamorgan now 145 for 4 at the end of the 36th over. You look at Tribe so far. That's now 46 of his runs through that mid-wicket, just in front of square leg region. Really has been the scoring zone. And I mean, as the captain, do you think Luke Proctor is now thinking about not necessarily completely plugging it, because Ace is not a one-trick pony, but maybe just thinking about altering the game plan to the Jersey International?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a captain's, and if it's sort of the captain's role there to put that fielder out there, because it's you half feel about running into bowl that it'd be a waste of a fielder having a deep mid wicket. It's just sort of missed their length short and full almost, and they've just allowed Tribe to pull and to clip just quite nicely into a pretty safe region. Down the wicket comes Kellaway, and shorter from Ramesh, sees him come in. Punch nicely to the mid-wicket man.
I was going to say, that's a nice shot for no run. Really bottom hand dominant, wasn't it, that one? Whippy from Ben Kellaway.
You come down, your ball isn't where you think it is, and it's all hand-eye coordination. He's just nailed the punch straight to mid-wicket though. A little bit slower, a little bit wider. Ramesh at the top of his mark again. Hammered into the surface and to extra cover. Last two delivers a little bit slower there from Ramesh. Just drawing him a little bit wider. Doesn't want to make it too easy for Kellaway. Just to be able to use play him off the back foot and punch it into a gap on the leg side. Last two balls, he's going to come around the wicket too. 45 goes back from short leg. Try and drift it across. Goes nice and full. Kellaway can't quite get to the full toss to put it away and pass the mid-wicket. Big appeal for OW, but looks like it slightly struck him outside the line. Very full from Ramesh. Kellaway doesn't quite get forward and over to it. Lets it hit him on the pad. Big appeal, but perhaps overly enthusiastic from the young lad.
I think that's fair, to be honest. Still a maiden over for Nirvan Ramesh, so kept it nice and metronomic on that occasion. But yeah, when you are bowling around the wicket, you've got to be pinpoint accurate with your precision, because of course if it strikes the opponent outside of the line of leg stump, will never ever be given. Talking of
Ramesh around the wicket again to the right-hander. Fallen just scoots under the bat, just outside the off stump. Trying to give it a little bit of flight, I think. Just try and let it drift. See if he can buy a shot out of Tribe. He's got protection out on that deep mid-wicket boundary, and then a very fine deep square leg for a little paddle sweep that we saw Kellaway play earlier. A little bit straighter. Pushed away to mid-wicket. Interested to see what Tribe's thought process is here. Where is he gonna? Is he just gonna look for a single? Is he gonna try and find a boundary option? Haven't seen him use his feet yet. That might come later. And that's down the leg side, and tried to be swept, but doesn't quite make good enough contact.
I don't mind that as an option though, because Ramesh, he's got to be almost laser focused with his line here. If he strays down the leg side, the fielder down at deep backward square is not going to be able to cut it off. So I think the sweep is definitely a logical shot that Tribe can play.
Especially with the angle, and he just sweeps on line. I think it's a pretty safe shot as well. Slower, fuller. Hit into the ground to extra cover. And covers. Short and just blocked back by Tribe. Do you feel like there's a shot coming? But not this over, just blocked back into point. That's the end of the over. Felt like there was something happening, but nothing really did. That's 2 maidens in a row for Ramesh.
Oh, he's bowling well here. He's the 17-year-old. Bowling beyond his years. In more ways than one. Justin Broad has handed over his jumper there to the umpire. Will be a continuation this time, though, from the David Capel end. And interestingly enough, it won't actually be Ramesh replacing Harrison. It'll be Ramesh from the David Capel end. So he just takes his mark. He was mightily impressive earlier on, was the 17-year-old, making his first-class debut today. Him and Ben Whitehouse capped 564, 565 respectively for Northamptonshire County Cricket Club. In this, the most heralded of formats. His first wicket in the county championship was that of Colin Ingram. Does not get much better than that.
That's who you want. You want a name as your first wicket.
100%.
Oof.
Have you ever dismissed any big names, Harry?
I think I've got less than 10 wickets ever, so I don't think I can claim any big names.
Fair enough.
Unless you count the nets. I'm sure I got Jacob out at some point in the nets. Only with the help of the sidearm, though.
What a player Jacob Bethel has turned into. What about scoring runs against maybe prominent bowlers? Ever hit anyone for a big six?
I hit Mitch Stanley for a decent six. Pulled him over mid-wicket.
He's playing today, isn't he, for Lancashire?
Yeah. I tend to score runs against Atik Javid somehow when I've played against him in the Birmingham League.
Yep, former Warwickshire and Leicestershire man.
He did also get me out, but that's all right.
We'll just focus on the run scoring for now. Yeah, good to see Mitchell Stanley playing first-class cricket for Lancashire. Of course, he was a former Worcestershire boy, wasn't he?
That's right. I played against him. Played at Shifnal as well. But had a lot of injuries into his late teens, so it's nice to see him back playing regularly cricket and still bowling quick.
Yeah, predominantly used as a limited over specialist nowadays is Mitchell Stanley. Never quite got those opportunities in first 11 cricket at Worcestershire until around about 2023. And he made the move up to the northwest to represent the Red Rose of Lancashire.
A lot slower there from Ramesh. We've been bowling a bit quicker at the start of this spell. That one slowed right down, just takes the outside edge, but played with soft enough hands that it doesn't carry to first slip. Whipped. Very wristy out towards deep cover, but another one from the fuller length. You mentioned about the action there being a lot going on, but it's all very purposeful, especially now we see him bowling from the top end, bowling towards us. You see sort of the way his arms and action sort of build themselves into the bowling position at the end, and it's very good to see. It's nice to see him being very purposeful and being deliberate in his attempts to take wickets and bowl and hold a good line and length.
Well, I think it's also the individual aspect as well, isn't it? That's why we love cricket. There's so much room for that individuality, for players to bowl different styles, even though it is the same discipline as, let's say, Safe Zape, who's just about to bowl from the Lynn Wilson centre end. Yes, it's left versus right arm finger spin, but of course, in terms of release points and variations, very similar. But it does give you that opportunity, doesn't it? To almost carve out your own niche, your own style. Allows you to express yourself.
Stays a little bit low. Just seeing a little bit of variation in bounce from both ends. Both Zabe and Ramesh have both found just a little bit, not quite usefully enough yet. But it's a game of fine margins, and if we just had one of these that had stayed a little bit low, just go a little bit straighter or nip back a touch, we could easily be seeing a different game here. Short, pulls along the floor, hard in front of mid-wicket. Team mid-wicket gets round and slide tackles it, but can't make the stop. And it goes away for 4. Ace of Tribe moves to 150. A very fluent knock. Removes his helmet. Raises his bat. And more cheers from the dressing room.
This is a man in an unbelievable vein of form. First career 150 in the first class formats. Absolutely magnificent stuff this from Ace of Tribe. Includes 21 fours and 2 sixes to boot. On the next one, he goes for the big expansive sweep. Doesn't get any bat on that one. When you look at the bigger picture, well, he's closing in on the career best in all formats of cricket that he set just 2 matches ago, which is absolutely staggering.
When you're scoring runs, you're scoring runs.
Yeah. He must just be thinking, does the season have to end? Can we extend it for another few weeks?
Hopefully he's going somewhere else in the winter to go and play. Keep the form going all the way, long as you can. In again, flatter, straighter, blocked off the back foot. Mid-on is just lurking, as if asking Tribe to go over the top, like he did at the other end. He does come forward, but uses his wrist to try and get it, work it past extra cover, but can only find his hands.
Feels like the second new ball is going to be a big factor, doesn't it?
One to that lurking mid-on. Sort of a 3/4 position. That's the end of the over. 5 from it. Glamorgan up onto 297 for 5. And 3 more overs, as you say, into that new ball, which is going to have to be key, I think, for Northamptonshire.
It is.
It's a lovely shot through. Just missing extra cover, but mid-off gets round nicely to field. I think that's safe save there.
It is indeed. Absolute greyhound in the field is safe save. He's had such a good season as well with the bat in hands. Second leading run scorer in Division 2. I think he's proven to a lot of people that he is a bona fide run scoring machine.
It's a good leave. Big turn there from Ramesh. But Cook was happy to leave it, and the decision proved correct. Fuller and slower, push back. there is gradually getting a little bit more turn. Haven't had the one spit like we did quite early on, seemingly out of nowhere, and haven't really had since. But just gradually, there's getting a little bit more for the spinners on this used deck.
That one is covered up by Chris Cook. Dot ball to round out the over. Another very impressive one there from Nirvan Ramesh. Goes for just a solitary run. And Glamorgan 303 for 5. Well, to be honest, in 2024, we saw it towards the end of the season that Northants were happy to play on this style of surface. Of course, Yuzi Jahel have a change of bowling here from the Lynn Wilson centre end. It'll be young Nirvan Ramesh on his first-class debut. The 17-year-old returned with figures of 1 for 33 from his 11 overs yesterday. So impressive, and got the big scalp of Colin Ingram. Big leading edge. Popped straight into the hands of Luke Proctor, who was circling at mid-off. As you can tell by the celebrations, it really was a big moment for the youngster. Done a lot of training and coaching alongside Nayan Doshi, the former Surrey and Derbyshire spin bowler. Someone who you could make the argument was a little bit of a trailblazer in T20 cricket. As Ramesh prepares to bowl here to Mason Crane. First ball defended back to the bowler for no run. We also have got an update from Grace Road. We'll give you that in just a moment. Ramesh gives that a little bit more flight and pushed away to Whitehouse at backward point for no run. Yeah, Gloucestershire have been bowled out for 482 runs against table toppers Leicestershire. As for the game at Lords, that crunch match between Derbyshire and Middlesex, the Sacs is 69 for 2. Ramesh slows that one down, gives it plenty of flight. Yeah, Luke Holman, the latest man to depart. He's gone for 11 from 27 deliveries. He's been dismissed by Zach Chappell. That one is played proficiently by Crane. That one flatter, darted in with a lower trajectory there from Nirvan Ramesh. Really metronomic start this from the Westminster School pupil. Can he round it out with a wicket? That one a full toss, push through the covers, and that is gaining plenty of pace off the practice wickets. Guthrie away in pursuit, puts in the slide and shovels it back in towards the open space. Well ran though in the end between Crane and Harris, and that will be 3 runs to round out the over. Glamorgan 449 for 8 upon the conclusion of over 116.
It seems to suggest between 3 onwards tomorrow could be a bit of a problem, and then on the final day potentially some showers. I still think if I'm Glamorgan here, you're scoring it very comfortably in and around 4 and over. Just pile them on, pile the psychological pressure on, bat once and bat big. If these two were blocking, first ball at new overs just thuds into the pad. If they were sort of blocking and scoring at 2 and over and not really pushing the game on, you might have a different point of view. But actually, I think if I'm Glamorgan, I'm quite content batting a fair bit longer here.
Ramesh bowls here to Crane, who crashes that one into Adi Sharma at short leg. Thankfully, the 19-year-old appears to be okay. Well, I suppose that is the decision, isn't it, for Sam Northeast, Richard Dawson, that Glamorgan think tank to make, but we'll have to wait and see. Either way, it's been some rescue effort, hasn't it? From 115 for 4 at lunch on day 1. Glamorgan have battled back valiantly. Ramesh here to Crane again. That one just to the left of Sharma, out towards deep square, so that will be a single. Seen a couple more comments. Ben Bonney watching on from Milan. Now, Ben is a Welsh boy, but he's been watching the F1 in Monza.
All right for some.
Exactly. I was thinking the exact same, Michael. All right for some. The home of the Tifosi and the Ferrari Formula One team. Iconic venue. Hope you're enjoying the coverage, Ben. Ramesh gives that plenty of flight outside the off stump.
One thing I've seen people mentioning is, Cesar Fernando's not known for his batting. I would understand a bit if they lose a wicket and then maybe decide to declare. But while these two are looking comfortable, Harris has been far more circumspect to the two, but Crane has looked particularly fluent. You're scoring runs at a very good pace. Why not just take the runs on offer against a tired attack who have been out there for 118 overs now. Short leg's gone round to a leg slip.
I quite like that. Let's see what Nirvan can concoct. Well, that one played out in front of square, so that will be another single. Of course, with Asita as well, yes, if you take a look at the stats with regards to first-class strike rates and list A strike rates, it's nothing too ridiculous. First class 38, list A around about 54, but in T20 ice, striking at 220. So maybe a few boundaries bashed as Ramesh bowls here to Crane, and Crane latches onto that one and smashes it for 4 runs. Really dismissive, smeared away on the leg side. And that will be a boundary to wrap up the 118th over. Glamorgan 462 for 8, and Mason Crane, well, he's looking to get a 3rd career first-class half-century.
And pretty much before he'd even answer, I was like, won the county championship multiple times. And I just said, this man existed in my life only on teletext and on Cricket Captain 2007, and he was laughing, but that was, a reflection of the era that was. Unless you were physically at the ground, you could see that someone scored runs or took wickets, but unless you read written reports or spoke to someone on the phone, you didn't really have an idea of how they might have done that. You knew the figures, but not necessarily tremendous amount else. And of course, it's very, very important to mention at this point, the BBC local radio have done so much in terms of providing an audio soundtrack to the summer, and then in more recent times with counties, now you can actually watch it as well.
Ramesh, well, he gives that plenty of flight. Just about dealt with there by McManus.
But yeah, it was just one of those sort of funny kind of conversations. He was chuckling and laughing out loud and being like, yeah, a few of my mates used to play bat with me on, have me selected in their team on Cricket Captain 2007, those type of things.
Ramesh, well, that one very wide outside of the tram line, but Harris did attempt the shot. Nothing additional given there by the umpire.
And just bringing it back to what we're watching, that means that Nirvan Ramesh, a 17-year-old, once with the Surrey Academy, now is here in front of us on first-class debut. Everyone can watch and enjoy the skills that he's got to offer. And you look at his action, right? It's very unusual action. But everyone at home, wherever you are across the world, can have a look at that and pick apart what they think of it. And what a joy that is.
Most definitely. So, final ball of the 120th over. And that one has struck him in front of the stumps, and Nirvan Ramesh has got his 2nd wicket. on Northamptonshire first-class debut. James Harris pinned LBW right in front of the stumps, and he has to depart for 13 from 44 deliveries. Glamorgan 463 for 9. Again, that is a lovely moment for the 17-year-old. Of course, he's already featured for Northants in the List A format, but here on first-class debut at his home ground of Wantage Road, he's now added a second wicket and done so with a wicket maiden. Very, very well bowled Nirvan Ramesh. And we have also got our answer to the previous question. So there will not be a declaration here from Sam Northeast and Glamorgan, because Asita Fernando is striding out to the middle for the start of the 122nd. Glamorgan 467 for 9. We imagine it will be Nirvan Ramesh to continue here from the Lynn Wilson centre end. Continues to be a glorious day here in Northampton. Thoroughly deserving of that nickname as no finer town. Really has been a superb start to this fixture on the weather front, and fingers crossed that the inclement weather doesn't play too much spoil sport on day 3 and 4, because we are very interestingly poised with this wicket.
Yeah, we've been blessed with a great summer when it comes to weather. That was a clever double bluff from the youngster Whitehouse, because Crane was clearly anticipating that that was going to be a rare one that he pitched up because of the field. And ironically, in terms of the line and the length of the ball, it was on the hip to be worked away for 1. But it does mean that now Northants get go at Fernando, the number 11.
Now, just looking at the field here for Nirvan Ramesh, he's having that conversation with the captain, Luke Proctor. Adi Sharma under the lid at short leg. Vasconcelos in at a traditional first slip. Whitehouse at backward points. Liam Guthrie in at short cover. Calvin Harrison, well, he's not quite hugging the boundary rope towards us here at wideish long on. And as soon as I say that, he's taken a few steps back. So imagine he will step back more towards the rope. And 2 men out on that onside boundary as well. Deep forward square. James Sales is operating. Also the fielder at deep backward square as Luke Proctor himself drops to a slightly deeper mid-off. Fernando defends that one with real assertion.
A couple of wickets have fallen in the other game that Glamorgan fans will have a close eye on. Middlesex now 89 for 3, playing Derbyshire, who were 283 all out.
It's a nice delivery from Nirvan Ramesh. Dot ball.
Luke Holman gone for 11. Josh Jacari's out for 46. That wicket of Jacari's is literally just fallen. So intriguingly poised there. You would think there's likely to be a result. Middlesex 194 behind with 7 wickets remaining.
That one really flighted underneath the eye line there of the Sri Lankan international. Good diving stop there from Liam Guthrie in the covers. Fernando this time goes for the big sweep. Spoons up in the air and a simple catch for Justin Broad. That will be the end of the first innings here at Wantage Road. Glamorgan bowled out for 467 runs in the 122nd over. Nirvan Ramesh, the 17-year-old, making his first-class bow for Northamptonshire County Cricket Club, has finished with figures of 3 for 42 from his 14.4 overs bowled. As you can see there, Asita Fernando gone for a 4-ball duck. And that will be that for Glamorgan's first effort with the bat in hand. We'll just take you through a quick little summary and recap of the action here from this first innings. And well, of course, the big story was Acer Tribe. 206 from 297 deliveries, included 31 fours and 2 sixes. His mammoth knock was finally brought to an end, having been clean bowled by Luke Proctor a little bit earlier here on day 2. Also runs for Chris Cook. He scored 84 yesterday. Mason Crane, who, as you can see there, finished on 41 unbeaten. Tim van der Houten chipping in with 33. Ben Kellaway also providing a pretty handy 23 from 43. So Glamorgan all out for 467 in 121.4 overs. As for Northamptonshire, well, Nirvan Ramesh, the pick of the bowlers, with 3 for 42. The captain, Luke Proctor, with 3 for 89 from his 25 overs. There are also wickets for Calvin Harrison, Justin Broad, and Liam Guthrie.
Well, it's close to a comical end to a superb innings from Saif Zaib. But the throw, Zain, the fielder out there at mid-wicket, Hassan, just doesn't pick it up clean to start with, has half a fumble, and the throw comes in, and Chris Cook, the wicketkeeper, isn't anywhere near the stumps, doesn't really feel like it's going to trouble Zaib. And I feel like Zaib maybe sees the wicketkeeper's positioning and maybe doesn't feel like he's in much danger, but the throw comes in, and with maybe 1.5 stumps to aim at from his throwing position, manages to just clip them and run Saif Zaib out.
I mean, what a throw that is, by the way, from Zainul Hassan. As you said, slick, slippery ball. Struggled to collect it cleanly. It's Fernando bowls here to Nirvan Ramesh, who almost spoons that straight into the awaiting palms of Asa Tribe at short leg. It's the fact that he didn't initially pick it up and then unleashes an absolute cannon back in towards the striker's end and, yeah, rips it into what would have been Saif's off stump. Unbelievable moment in this first innings for Northants.
It's the first sort of kind of attempt we've seen for the batsman trying to come back for the second. He cracks it out into the gap and feels like he can get there.
Oh, beautiful delivery that from Sita Fernando. I mean, this will be interesting between these two, making their first-class debuts. Nirvan Ramesh, the younger of the Northants pair, just 17 years of age. He can block, though. That is one thing with Nirvan. Has got pretty solid and compact front foot defence. Imagine that Ben Whitehouse will be the aggressor in this partnership now. Fernando bowls here to Ramesh. That one guided away very stylishly down towards Mason Crane. A deep third for the single. Which you can probably hear through our effects mic. The rain now really beginning to hammer down, and the umpires have seen enough. Well, Harry. Glamorgan have got that third bowling bonus point. Northamptonshire 413 for 9 here in the 93rd over. So they have secured 4 batting bonus points. And as for Glamorgan, that run out of Saif Zaib, just 4 deliveries before the rain has interrupted proceedings, has got them up to 7 in total for the match.
Well, how often does that happen? Wicket just before the rain break. You walking off after your innings and you feel like you're annoyed enough as you are being out, and then everybody else follows you off. But I mean, what a session. Games moved on very quickly in that session. Wickets falling, runs being scored. Glamorgan would have said if they've got this little hour, we ended up playing a bit more than we thought we were going to, looking by the radar. They'd have looked to almost try and bowl Northants out in that session, but they'll be pretty close and they'll be quite happy with how they got there. Started with quite an aggressive approach with the batting from Sharma alongside Zaib. But wickets fell quickly in clusters then after that, before the longer partnership of Whitehouse batting at number 10 with Zaib. Both batted very nicely, but that quite incredulous run out of Saif Zaib just moments before this rain break gives Glamorgan that next bowling point. But now we see this rain lashing down, and I hope for the game's sake we see some more action later on, but the forecast may have something to say about that.
Well, we'll have to wait and see, won't we? And then now will be a change of bowling from the Lynn Wilson centre end. Now this is going to be very interesting indeed, because it is young Nirvan Ramesh also making his first-class debut. He got 3 wickets in that first innings, and let's not forget who the first one of those was. It was Colin Ingram. I'm playing a slightly expansive shot, looped off the blade, and in the end it was a simple catch from Luke Proctor, running to his right from mid-off. So this now, again, is one of those matchups, as we said with Broad and North East, which Luke Proctor, the Northants captain, has recognised. We haven't seen spin as of yet. And now this is where the game of chess really develops into its own. Love to see this aggressive field as well. It's one of the great sights in cricket, especially as a lover of spin bowling, seeing someone at short leg. Adi Sharma, it is, the 19-year-old, who's got the helmet on in that position. Vasconcelos in at first slip. Backward point is in place. So too is short cover. Proctor at mid-off. So here we go then. It's Nirvan Ramesh bowling around the wicket to Colin Ingram. Starts off nicely. Good areas that for any finger spinner. Just looking with regards to the boundary riders as well. Deep square leg is in place. So too is deep point. So currently a 5-4 offside split. Ingram just caresses that one through the cover region. Nice shots off the back foot for one. Keeps the scoreboard moving along, and it feels now, doesn't it, Harry, as though we've just gone into the next phase of play, the game within a game, which of course is the battle against spin.
This is going to be such an interesting passage of play. Ramesh here, seeing what bits of spin you can get out of this wicket. Just hoping for a little bit. Doesn't need much, the off spinner. It just keeps the batsman guessing a little bit. Doesn't know if it's going to carry straight on, if it's going to take one of those dust patches and just spin or slide through.
Got plenty of rough outside the eye line of the right-hander to aim for as well. What's that one? Almost sneaks through. Ramesh inches away from getting that 4th breakthrough. But Carlson does survive. I think that's what we call a seed.
Just flatter there, just rushes Carlson, tries to play off the back foot. I can't believe it didn't catch a stump.
He's one of those bowlers, if you're going to play him off the back foot, you've got to play him with absolute certainty. The amount of times I've seen it in second 11 cricket, players decide to shuffle back and they just get castled. You've got to be so proficient. This time goes a little bit wider. Nice little bit of turn there. And that is the end of a fine first over from Nirvan Ramesh. Goes for just the solitary single. Glamorgan now find themselves 69 for 3 after 22 overs. So, Ramesh will be to continue from the Lynn Wilson centre end. Carlson just flat bats that one away. Well stopped by Calvin Harrison, so that is a dot ball. That one is left alone on line.
Gloucestershire have declared against Leicestershire,
Wow.
setting 316 to win.
That's one of those tantalising targets, isn't it? It's one of those, still a decent amount of the game left there.
Phillips and Charlesworth, the main batters there, 60s each. There's Ramesh in again.
Well, I think at the 25th over, Harry, if you could give us a score update from around the grounds, that'd be very much appreciated. Of course, especially that Derbyshire-Middlesex one. That one is absolutely massive. It's Ramesh in here to Carlson. That one slightly straying down the leg side. Just talking of the field here as well. He's currently 5-4 on the leg side this time. So Adi Sharma under the lid at short leg. Cowan Harrison in at short mid wicket. Proctor in at wide mid on. Backward square in place and a deep square as well. That one just about dealt with by Lewis McManus, and that is a maiden over from Nirvan Ramesh. So the score for Glamorgan, 69 for 3 upon the conclusion of over number 24. The lead remains 123.
Well, Leicestershire with a real opportunity to climb clear at the top of the table.
Here is Nirvan Ramesh then. Carlson goes on the reverse. Ramesh goes for the appeal. That one did bounce quite sharply. I think that would have been the issue on that occasion. Might just have to do some maths here, actually, Harry, because I think that would all but promote Leicestershire. I'm pretty sure it would. Those extra 16 points would put them on 213 for the season. The wind picks up here at Wantage Road. Carlson advances, pushes it back down towards Proctor at mid-on for no run. So the Foxes, theoretically, of course, because they've still got quite a bit of work to do there, but would be on 213. If that game at Derbyshire and Middlesex was to be a draw, well, that put Derbyshire on 153 and Middlesex on 150. Carlson does well to push that one forward. Plenty of green grass down there towards third, so scampers back for a second. As we know, there's only a maximum of 24 points available in a county championship fixture. So by my maths, well, that would see Leicestershire in Division 1 next season, which would be some achievement.
It's some carrot to dangle by Gloucestershire.
I've got to say, I thoroughly rate it. That one very full. Push down towards mid-off for no run. Because let's not forget that Gloucestershire are almost the dark horse here. They've got the most work to do. So they're on 138. Middlesex on 142, Derbyshire on 145 at this stage with the bonus points. So if Gloucestershire won that, they would be on 154. That one is swept away, swept very hard. Well fielded by Safe Save down at deep square leg. So just a single there for Kieran Carlson. And of course, if things stay the same here at Wantage Road, well, with those extra 8 points, Glamorgan would be on 177. So there you go. Very interesting indeed.
It's well bowled by Ramesh. Saw Carlson be a little bit more expansive in that previous over, trying the reverse sweep first ball, came down the pitch second, and then sweeping to rotate the strike. Fifth ball.
Nirvan Ramesh immediately takes off the cap. You can just tell sometimes with bowlers, they are keen as anything to get into the action. And Nirvan, you can see here today, I mean, these are the kind of wickets which, as a spinner, you kind of lick your lips at. And yes, there isn't necessarily the cracks that have been formed. It's not been baking hot, but there's just enough in it. He will have seen that bite and bounce and spin from Mason Crane, and he will be relishing this opportunity to potentially be a match winner for Northamptonshire. One darted in by Ramesh, cut away down towards deep backward points, and beats the effort of the fielder, slams into the advertising hoardings, and that is an emphatic four from Colin Ingram, who so far, Harry, is playing the spin superbly well.
Yeah, he's played it very nicely so far. We've seen lots of options from him. Swept in that previous over from Harrison, and I think he'll continue to look to score against spin. He blocks that one back. But Ramesh bowling to the left-hander. You do fancy as an off-spinner that right arm off-spin to a left-handed batter match-up. You feel like you're in the game at all times, but you can give the left-hander a little bit of room to score outside that off stump, as we saw from the first ball this over. Just going to change his pace slightly. Holds a little bit shorter. And Ingram's able to rotate the strike out to that deep cover fielder.
Moves him on to 27, just 30 deliveries faced. Really nice start to the innings, this from Colin Ingram. His partnership continues to tick along very nicely. Carlson advances, just turns it around the corner. James Sales does the fielding. Yeah, now stands at 33 between these two.
There's clearly a monologue going on between the batsmen, just to be proactive against the spin. They can't get bogged down. Don't want to just have Ramesh and Harrison bowl at them on what a pitch we've seen do a couple of things with the spinners. Slower. There's the reverse sweep. Does it just off the top edge. Vasconcelos tries to preempt where that stroke was going to go to, but in the end, off the top edge, it sneaks past where he would have been if he'd have just stood still.
And that's the point. That would have been a potential catching opportunity. Completely rate it, though. How many times have we seen that in cricket, especially from keepers, where they have that air of anticipation, preempt the movement, get into another position? On that occasion, didn't quite pay off, unfortunately, for Ricardo Vasconcelos. Regardless, that is the end of the over then. Goes for 6 runs. Glamorgan 92 for 3. Of course, that important figure with regards to the lead. Well, that stands at 146 runs. So, don't think we'll see a declaration anytime soon.
And with 3 minutes left until the allotted lunch break, I think Northampton will try and sneak in a couple of overs if they can. Try and get through this over from Nirvan Ramesh quickly. Get Harrison one more, especially after looking to trouble that both edges in that previous over.
Well, here is Ramesh to Ingram, who covers up on that first one. Yeah, I do wonder if we'll continue to see this tactic as well of the finger spin from the Lynn Wilson centre and wrist spin from the David Capel end. Ramesh readies himself once more. That one tossed up very wide compared to the previous delivery, because it has almost been the opposite of what we've seen so far in this game. So Mason Crane operated almost solely from this side of the ground. Does tend to be Yuzvendra Chahal's preferred end of the ground as well. Ramesh looking to bring middle stump into play. But then, of course, the caveat of that for the finger spin, when there are so many right-handers in this Glamorgan batting unit, is you don't have the same degree of foot marks. There's definitely a hint more rough outside of the off stump.
That's exactly what I was about to mention. Definitely a little bit more help for the finger spinner bowling from this end. But indeed, we saw so much leg spin bowled from this end as well in the first innings with both sides.
Ingram just chops that away down towards deep point for the single. Certainly not the point in the game to do anything too rash. Ramesh makes a slight alteration to his field. There was a man out at deep backward point. Liam Guthrie it was, who now comes in towards more traditional backward point position. Carlson defends that one. So the clock has ticked over here at Northampton to 12:30. So this could well be the last delivery before lunch. James Sales and Ricardo Vasconcelos just making a signal there to the dressing room. Potentially just get another helmet on. Maybe a couple. Crowd the bat a little bit. And indeed, right on cue, the helmet has been passed over to James Sales. So he will now sprint over. Absolutely the right decision at this stage. Imagine that Vasconcelos will stay at slip. Just a case of positioning here for Nirvan Ramesh. So Sales is the man who goes to short leg. And that one, well, chopped away off the inside of the bat. And that will be 2 runs. Sales it is, who picks up the ball and does the fielding. So that will be the end of a thoroughly entertaining morning session.
And we are going to continue to see spin from the Lynn Wilson centre end. Ramesh started nicely. 5 overs, 1 maiden for 13 runs. Just trying to find those foot marks that are appearing at the batsman's end.
And he too has started really nicely, hasn't he? Nirvan Ramesh, none for 13 from his previous 5 overs. Just settled into his rhythm quite admirably. It's one of those tricky passages now for Glamorgan to just almost try and silence him in a way. And whether that's a case of being proactive and being counter-attacking, punchy, hitting for a few boundaries. He bowls here to Ingram, slightly down the leg side, or whether it is just a case of almost continuously just ticking along those 1s and 2s, trying to pick the gaps. What you can't afford with any spin bowler really, and we've said this throughout the match, but on a surface like this where there is that inconsistency in the bounce and a little bit of assistance off the wicket itself in terms of turn and bites, a little bit of spit as well, you can't allow them to settle into a groove, because none for 13 could easily turn into 2 for 30 or 3 for 40.
I think it's a good opportunity this point for Nirvan to get bowling at this point. You can see the flags of the 2 teams on the groundsman shed whipping away over to the left-hand side. Should just aid him with a little bit of drift, spinning it, of course, the other way with the right-hand finger spinner. That touch flat, touch short. And Ingram's able to rotate the strike out to safe save over in the deep cover boundary. Yeah, if Ramesh can really find his area here, I think it can become a bit of a handful here for the two Glamorgan batters, who will have in the back of their mind that there is supposed to be a little bit of rain about. You wonder if that might play on their concentration a touch. But still bright as of yet, and we hope we keep getting cricket in. That's slow from Ramesh.
Well, that is the hope, of course. Just looking at the radar, as we said, we are expecting it within this window between 1:15 and 1:30. The ground staff still down there at deep cover point at the moment, just in case they are needed to spring into action. But so far it is remaining bright as Ramesh bowling here to Carlson. Fancies a couple steps down the track. Fires that one in at Calvin Harrison at short mid-wicket. But yeah, just looking throughout the remainder of the afternoon as well, potentially another band coming in at around about 2:30. So we hope it's not going to be stop-start, because this has been set up rather intriguingly, especially if another wicket falls. I think that's the real X factor here. It's Glamorgan 101 for 3 after 32, but let's say that there is a little bit of a wobble here. 101 for 3 becomes, I don't know, 120 for 5 or 125 for 6.